personal perspective.
Happens sometimes, and not federal, right? So there are different reasons for this that wouldn't change the result. But I'm concerned about the fact that it seems like all of the rules, all of the norms that otherwise have guided the Department of Justice have been thrown out the window. So I don't see why that norm wouldn't also be thrown out the window.
Aided and abetted by Republicans in Congress, and Speaker Mike Johnson was asked about evidence of fraud, and this is what he came up as an answer.
I'm not saying it's rigged. I'm saying it's steps that I have, and everybody knows that. Some of these efforts are so diabolical and so far upstream, it is impossible to prove. But I think everybody knows
These Trump people are so diabolical.
and that's a concern. We need people to believe
Just lie.
the election system is critical to maintaining constitutional republic.
All right, team, listen up. The argument is there is a way for us to revise our elections that allows more people to participate and allows us to return results in a timely manner. That's a separate conversation from the one that they are having, which is they are not actually interested in reforms that make the process more democratic, that allow more people to participate. They are actively trying to keep people out. They are actively trying to sow doubt. And it is telling to me that they haven't even come up with fake evidence. Now we're just at the point where they're saying, well, they're vibes.
Mary, Michael, Alicia, Simone, we have a family conversation.
Well, here, please, let me take a sip. Hold on.
You're doing the right thing. I'm not concerned about November 3rd. I'm concerned about November 4th, 5th, and 6th. You hear all the consternation about California right now. Right. All these conspiracy theories, all these lies about California. What do you think is going to happen when we are waiting for California to determine who controls the U.S. House? And I take it back. Let's go way back. 8 years. All the way back. In 2018, we weren't sure when the evening concluded if Trump had lost a little or had gotten routed in the midterms because we didn't know where California was. It became clear over days. Trump got killed in the midterms in 2018 because of California. And I can see us being on a knife's edge November 4th, 5th, and 6th, and then utilizing all of this to try to sow down.
You know, I think back to the election in 2020. I worked on the Biden campaign, and I remember the night of election night that Donald Trump went from the White House in the People's House down to a podium and claimed victory even though he had not won. We spent the rest of that week detailing to the American people, to be in the press, in very detailed ways of our numbers, showing our methodology about how it is, what the numbers really are, and why it is we believe that when the numbers pan out, we will win this election. And by Saturday, it was very clear that Joe Biden was, in fact, the winner of that race and the next president of the United States. My concern about the days after these midterm elections is that was easy to do because we were one campaign. One presidential campaign, that was the campaign that we questioned, centralized. We can clearly go in front and lay out what our numbers are. To the point that Michael and Mary were making, our election system is not one federal system. There are many different systems. Some of these campaigns, like some of these folks do not have the resources or the capacity to go out there and do what we did. But that is what is going to be necessary because they're going to lie. And Mike Johnson, maybe he was one of the chief cheerleaders of the insurrection. He was one of the people that said the 2020 election was stolen. And now he is the Speaker of the House of Representatives. If you don't think they're going to plan to pull any tricks, people would be fooling themselves. So I think we're having this conversation now, and we'll continue to have it so that people can be ready. They have to be ready. They have to wrap their minds around what is actually a potential for this election. Because January 6th is all about the big lie. The big lie was that the election was stolen, and that moved those people who to go to the Capitol. Many of them in court said, I thought the president was telling the truth. Now you got Ro Khanna saying one of his friends believes Spencer Pratt was robbed of the election and he canceled his voter registration in California today. One of the friends of a sitting congressman, okay? So people got to get really serious. This is not just some fodder on the internet. I got Michael Steelberg. I have something to say. All right. Mary McCord, Scott McCall, thank y'all both for taking us off on this family conversation. In just a moment, the president's apparent public nap at the NBA Finals has one Democrat questioning Trump's fitness and what the White House is hiding. And later, Republicans reject the idea of forcing Trump's pick for Attorney General to testify about the Epstein files. Congressman James Walkinshaw of the Oversight Committee is here to react. You are watching the weekend. The NBA Finals is also the center of attention on basketball's biggest stage
thunderously booed by Knicks fans as a result. All eyes were on Trump last night, and when those eyes saw him appear to nod off in his luxury box, many, including Congressman Ted Lieu, they were concerned.
The President of the United States is not well. We can see it with our own eyes. He has tremendous difficulty staying awake on the job. Donald Trump has repeatedly fallen asleep at multiple cabinet meetings, at multiple White House events, at a Memorial Day ceremony, and most recently at a very loud and raucous New York Knicks San Antonio Spurs game last night.
Joining us now is Eugene Daniels, MS Now senior Washington correspondent, co-host of The Weekend, and co-host of the podcast Rocket Simone.
Ted Lieu sounds like me because I have been saying the president is unwell to be very. Sorry, guys, I just had to nod off for a second. It is crazy. It is a national security concern. Like, let's put aside the fact that he was at a very loud game. If the president is falling asleep like this in places and spaces in front of cameras and we can see it, what is happening that we can't see? What are the people at the White House hiding? What are they covering up? They want us to talk about the Knicks and how they booed the president. The people in the arena booed the president. And I also am wondering why Steve Witkoff was there and not negotiating the end to the war with Iran. And apparently the war is not over more than 100 days in. But this is crazy. It is insane. And if you were at the White House, would you be asking these questions? Mr. President, why are you so tired?
Well, because the question is, we know why he's so tired.
Well, do we? We don't know.
Well, part of it is like he doesn't, the man called.
Neither does Michael Steele, and he doesn't take a nap. And I've never
That's
seen
so many years younger.
very much so, but I'm just saying. He doesn't nap, and he does it pretty well.
Okay. But I think the thing that's really important is this is one of those things that this White House could say, right? They could say, sometimes the president falls asleep at things, but that's because he's calling reporters at night. That's because he's on the phone all the time. But instead, what they want to sell, they could say. But they're not saying anything now. So that's part of the issue. When you ask them questions about it, they act like we're crazy, like we're not watching it. And there was a time a few weeks ago where they took screenshots of reporters, Kate Collins, one of them, to CNN, taking a picture of her who actually was blinking and said, "Oh, she's falling asleep." They did the same thing with Joe Behar, the View. Took a screenshot when she was on the show, said, "Oh, she's falling asleep," because for them it is a thing to make fun of and joke about. But you're right, it is much more serious.
What's the difference between taking a screenshot of someone in the middle of a clip where you catch it just right there? It's not the same as.
No, he was slumped.
It's not the same of all this activity going on around you and having to watch the process of going to sleep, where your eyes get heavy and you try to stay awake. If someone says something, you do that. That's that. The Wall Street Journal, I think, kind of puts a point on where all of this sort of goes down the bowl. The celebratory air that Trump brought to the party has dissipated ever since his cultural cachet hit its zenith around the second inauguration. Trump's setbacks on the culture front come amid a dip in his approval ratings and growing concerns over his handling of the economy. Several high-profile podcasting allies have turned on Trump over the war in Iran and his administration's handling of the Epstein files, among other issues. So the problem of that imagery is it makes it hard to sustain and hold in place all the people that brought you to the dance and kept you on the dance floor. And now they see you falling asleep in the middle of the dance when they still have stuff they want to get done, Epstein files, when they still have, projects and other things that they think should be happening. They get concerned, they pull away.
We're going to end right there. You'll hear from JB's personal perspective. You heard it here on JB's personal perspective, and I'll talk to y'all soon. Another episode of Trump being a fool at the Knicks game, destroying everyone's fun. And this new DNI that he's trying to plant in Department of National security is a disgrace.